And we come to day 10. So welcome and good morning. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, good morning. Thank you, thank you. If you have the oils, forehead center, crown of the head, base of the skull, base of the spine. This great track of our spine and our skull. And you can think about the way that your skull protects your thoughts, your thinking, your perception, all the great and important aspects of the mind, and the spine itself, the same knobbly structure of bone that protects your spinal cord, that allows communication with everything else, and it's designed so beautifully and flexibly. The holes in the eyes, the cat running laps. It's a remarkable thing, this life of ours. And everything about what we're doing when we show up to practice any aspect of kundalini, if it's going to call itself kundalini, it is moving you back towards the innate good that you are. We are all recovering. We are not creating light, we are recovering light. And this aspect at the crown is the place where we come to reside again in ourselves, evolved, not just existing, which we did at the base. I am here, I am alive, I am. But this also is I am. And this I am is I am exalted, I am made of light, I am good. When we are born, our pattern is clear. And then we come into the world and the stories of the world and the stories that are imprinted on our people and our family, and their actions and their patterns influence us. But you are innately good. I am is what we are claiming and remembering. I too have known loneliness. I too have known what it is to feel misunderstood, rejected, and suddenly not at all beautiful. Mother Earth, your comfort is great. Your arms never withhold. It has saved my life to know this. Your rivers flowing, your roses opening in the morning, motions of tenderness. This is what we are returning to, this boundless, endless provision of welcome and care. I am included, I am welcomed, I am light. Bring your palms together, sit up tall. Excuse me. Om Namo, I bow to everything outside of me, all that holds me and knows me, remembers my light. Gurudev Namo, I bow to everything inside of me, the way I remember my own light, and everything I do to move towards it. 3 times. Inhale. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Roll your shoulders, shake it out. And come onto hands and knees, so pad your hands and knees as needed. Blanket under your knees and your shins, hands underneath your shoulders. Round your back, drop your chin to your chest and swing your hips side to side for a moment. From your shoulders, extend through your arms into the base of your knuckles, hips side to side, heart side to side, chin side to side. And then right in the center, drop your navel, open the chest, and exhale round and inhale, open. The pace is up to you. And use this moment as an inquiry. As you start moving, are you hungry to be slower? Give yourself permission. Go slower. Are you hungry to be quick? Then be quick. Give yourself permission. So finding your pace, set your rhythm, close your eyes, turn your left thumb forward, your left finger's left. Trying to draw the hands apart, now the heart is free. Work there or turn your left fingers back, left thumb left. Heels of your hands are in one line. And now open the left side palm and forearm and the left collarbone and throat and down the back. Two. Turn your left fingers forward. Turn your right thumb forward. Turn your right fingers right. Round and release. Work there or turn your right fingers right again, your right thumb right. And find your pace. Two, one. Turn your right fingers forward. Widen your knees, toes together, and hips to heels to fold. Coming up, tuck your toes, walk out your dog. One heel and then the other. And step your right foot up to your right thumb. Put your left knee to the blanket. Bring your hands to your hips or your right thigh and just allow yourself to come forward and back. A little forward and back. And as you do, you're opening the left side hip, creasing the right side. And just feel that you have control of how far in and out you go. So right armpit over your right kneecap, fingertips wide. Now can you allow your hips a little forward and back, just a little space? And as you come forward, let the knee and your armpit begin to draw your heart forward and stay. So hands are wide, right knee into armpit, chest is long. Put the top of your back foot flat, and this will bring the left hip forward. Widen your gaze into the outer left corner and the outer right corner. And then step back. Plug into the base of your right hand knuckles. And let your right hip come high and your right heel go down and bend the left knee. Feel the right side align. And then the left foot steps up inside the thumb. And your hands to your hips, come a little forward, come a little back. And in the forward and back, you're creasing the left hip and opening through the front of the right and determining how far is appropriate for today and that you're in command of that. Then the left armpit over the left knee, hands wide, and the hips a little forward and back. Just a little forward and back. So the chest comes forward, the right foot flattens behind you, and you widen your gaze out into the right side and the left side of your eye. And as you step back, anchor into the base of your fingers on the left hand. And up into the left hip, and down into the left heel, and the right knee bends. And the left side body begins to align. Fold your blanket in half, front to back. And then step your feet in front and sit down. Bending your knees, your heels are down, your toes are up. Thumbs are up. Bring your fingers in and leaning back, your hands are even. As you come forward, one hand up, exhale down, inhale, open. Alternating sides. Use the heels of your feet as though you were standing on the front wall, and from the soles of your feet, you're drawing yourself forward and back. So you're really anchoring into the legs and connecting the movement of your navel and the power of your navel into the legs. For 3, for 2, and for 1. Notice the navel and widen your heels out to the sides. Bring your knees, have a little bend if needed. The feet shake out side to side, the knees up and down. And little movement as you reach, opening out the outer hip, the outer rib, the underarm. And then hands on either side of the leg to fold down and rise up. And begin to reach the inner arm further than the outer arm. And then the hands reach out. So start putting one piece at a time. And when you can't go further, just maintain what you can do. And perhaps you don't touch the floor. Inhale up, exhale, turn. More and more of a twist from the navel right to the feet. And we go. For 8 and 7 and 1. Sitting tall, just notice out through the feet. Interlace your fingers, make a great circle, as though you were stirring a pot. And let it open the circularity of your hips and your pelvis. And maybe you add a little bend of your elbows and make that circle a little bit bigger. Three, 2, reverse your circle. So these gestures are warming us up, opening the legs, the pelvis, the abdomen, the back, so that those openings can then be aligned, and as they're aligned, they can carry our light. And in that light, we remember our innate good. The tenderness of ourselves. One more. And pause tall. Come to lie down on your back. Bring your blocks with you. So simple. That's so important to open the fronts of the hips, especially when we have such a culture of sitting. So tempting to sit. Knees bend, feet flat. Lift your hips and put your blocks edge side by side on their lowest setting, right under the low back. And then place your palms down. Tuck a shoulder under, tuck another. And your inner thighs roll towards each other and down. Press the left palm flat. And the right hand comes up and overhead. Drop the back of your right hand to the floor. Press the left down. Tuck your right shoulder under and just give it a breath or two. And bring your right hand down and the left hand up. So the left palm is flat. The left shoulder tucks under, the back of the left hand to the floor as you can. And let your left heel be heavy. And feel the breath start to open through the left side ribs and the left side diaphragm. And down. And the right hand overhead. And the left palm flat. Good. My mistake, hand down. Lift your hips and bring your blocks belly to belly so they're on their edge. Now we go right hand over. So there's a little bit more of a lift. And the right hand flat to the floor and the left hand overhead. Tiny wag of the tail. Little open and close with the knees, allowing the psoas some space. And then down. Lift your hips. Stand your blocks on their tail or repeat the height that serves you best. So left palm flat, shoulders under, right hand overhead. Only going as far through the blocks as serves you. Right heel is heavy, right hand overhead. Really inviting the space from the pelvis to the navel to lengthen, changing sides. Left heel is heavy. Left shoulder drops. So that when you bring your hands down and you stand in your feet, lift your hips, and now notice the front surface of your body. Remembering through direct experience, you are made of light. Knees wide and brought to your chest. Shake out your feet and your knees. And you'll roll to a squat. And you'll reach your hands up and overhead, and your left hand will hold your right wrist. And you go a little to the left. And you'll bend your knees and find a squat, palms together, all the way down as you can. And standing up, right hand will hold the left wrist, go up, go right. And then sit it down. And rising up, going left. And coming down. And feeling how as you stand up, the hips come forward, just as though you were resting on those blocks. And then they fold back one more time. Keep your legs straight and your hands down. Now fold your fingers in, but your palms are open and your thumbs are strong. Arms wide. Little forward circles, palms face down, little forward circles. And from your heart towards your knuckles, reach. And long, deep breathing and small, quick circles. So we've folded and unfolded through the legs. We've anchored through the navel. Ha. And now this is for the heart. Shoulder blades back towards the spine. Palms are open. reaching through the first finger knuckle and the pinky finger knuckle. Turn your thumbs up, palms face forward, a wag of the tail if you need to. And then the thumbs point back. Little forward circles, palms are open, just 30 seconds. And as you inhale, really expand from the center of your chest all the way to your knuckles. 3, 2, and then open your hands, palms face forward, shake it out, and you notice that might be all you require to remember your light, to recover your light. We just become more and more aware of the different states of ourselves, so that when we feel dark and inert, we know it can change. We know how to change and where to change, because we're aware of how we change ourselves through the practice. Bring it to a seat. All right, sitting up tall. Legs are crossed. Now, if you can't sit cross-legged, then you sit on the edge of a chair with your feet flat directly under your knees. And we start most modified, palms face the ribs, turn left, turn right. So old shoulder injuries, this will keep you safe and still access the spine. Or next step, thumbs touch the shoulders but palms face down. Always good to take our time getting in. Next step, thumbs point down, palms face forward. Inhale left, exhale right, your pace. Steady, energetic, but not hurried. Full posture, interlace your fingers at the base of your skull, thumbs point down, elbows wide. If there's any rounding through the back and your heart is collapsing, then go back a step with your hands until you can remain upright. 2 minutes. Loosening your eyes in their socket, letting them turn side to side. 10, 9. Find center, inhale, chin up, 3 more sips. Hands up high, tuck your chin. Now lift the pelvic floor, lift your attention up, up, up through the body, and just pause. When you need to, the chin comes up, the breath goes out, the hands come down, eyes closed to notice. A change in the sensation of being in your body. We don't have to make it happen. We don't have to try. We receive it. This is you. Legs out, shake out your feet, shake out your knees. And get your strap. And as you rebuild your seat, keep your heels beneath your knees, the outside edge of your foot to press and meet the mat. If you need to, you can get higher. Sit a second blanket, a bolster, and the strap goes behind you, as wide, if not wider, than your hips. Mine are about a fist wider than my hips. Hard up on the exhale, fold over. On the inhale, rise up. And the strap is wide enough that I can lift my hands away from my hips, eventually up over the shoulders. If my shoulders are open to the point that I'm going over them, come shorter on the strap. And then continue. Sitting upright, releasing the strap, hands to your thighs. Be tall. Notice across the chest and the throat, the back of the neck, the mouth, the tongue, the root of the tongue. Set your blanket aside, bend your knees, put your feet flat. Fingertips point towards you, bend your elbows, widen, and then gather them in and up as you press down into the hands. Bend your elbows, widen them out, wrap them in, and sit up tall. This might be fine. Find the breath here. Open your mouth, and the whisper of ha. Right from your belly, heart comes up, close your mouth, go out your nose. Keep the breath. You may stay there, lifting your hips, rock a little forward, rock your seat back. Inhaling. Walk your feet a little bit further forward as you make space through the chest. 2, 1. Lift it up, find your breath. And then the breath leaves the hips, drop. Legs out long, hands to thighs, pause a beat. Notice how as we open the chest and then increase to that breath of fire, we start to feel the brain, the inner aspect of the skull, the light in our mind. So we moved all the way up through our beautiful physical body, filling each aspect with light, stabilizing, and now we stand. So put all of it to use. Arms out long, feet are hip distance, palms see the floor. On your breath out, tail back, knees staying over the ankle. Exhale, sitting down. Inhale, reaching up. So it can be very, very small. It can be the tiniest back and rise. It can be mid-size, or you can take your hips right down to your heels. And we go 20 more. As you stand, open the fronts of your thighs, open the low abdomen. Let your heels be heavy. And as you exhale, just drop into the feet. For 3, and for 2, 1 last time. And we stand tall. So those are the ankles and the knees and the hips. Reach your hands up high. Good. Sweep wide, bend your knees, hands down the backs of your legs, fold down. Bend your knees, rise back up. Inhale. Exhale, folding. Inhale, rising. So the bend in your knees keeps your low back flat, which you can find by bringing your ribs to your thighs. Or working towards continuing to have the legs straight, but the work has to be that you are not rounding the back. So it's a very clean hinge at the hips. Full posture, the hands come forward. On your inhale, a little bit of a lift and folding down. So down the sides and the backs of the legs is a great way to build strength through the muscles along the sides of the spine that hold us upright. And when that feels strong enough and when the hamstrings are open, then the hands go forward. But it's still day 10, and I would suggest you really mind your back and create a strong foundation. And instead, rise up and find the tiny little bit of a back bend and fold down. You have time. We have days. And so we want to work with the body a little at a time. So it is consistent and you're building a foundation for tomorrow's practice. Ten more. Stand tall, pause, palms open, notice there's going to be a little tumult. And with your feet a little wider than hip distance, knees a little soft, hands out wide, and slightly going to the left, and then slightly going to the right. From your navel to your feet is steady. Inhale left, exhale right. And the work comes into the upper chest. Hands overhead is elevating your frequency, calling your energy to a little bit of a higher state. If you can, eyes are closed. If not, eyes are set on a point ahead of you, steady. And find your breath. 15 more. Three, 2, 1. And sweep wide and slowly land your hands on your hips. Feel a decompression through the base of the skull. The back of the neck, keep dropping your shoulders down so that you don't generate any residual stress going forward. And with your hands on your hips, a little tap of your heel. And each tap gets a syllable, gets a sound, and the sound comes right from your abdomen. That really half of the sound is about the breath. This very strong, consistent breath out of the belly. And with that, we make a har, H-A-R, har. And har is the creative syllable of the universe, the way in which things are brought into being. Har, 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 har. So you keep that going. Heart is high. The breath is steady. We're going to build some stamina. And if you stay right here, the stamina is going to be about simply continuing. And your mind will drift and you'll think of all sorts of reasons why you should stop, and you'll continue. And this will build your consistency and your momentum through your own life. Not just the practice, but everywhere else. Or we're going to add a little bit of a hop. Hud, 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 hud. And now we're building physical stamina. Hud, 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 hud. Hum, 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 hum. Hum, 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 hum. A minute to go. And you're building the ability to just see it through. It can be a conversation, it can be a work project, it can be cleaning up your kitchen. Hum, 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 hum. Hum, 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 hum. 5, 4, Hands on body. Long, deep breathing. Let the hips move, let the feet move. Help the body bring it to land. Help the heart to slow, big, deep breathing. And each day we see something all the way to the end. We accomplish what in the midst of it might feel difficult. And we begin to experience ourselves as proficient all the way through the life cycle of events in our lives. And so let's bring all of that energy and proficiency right into the mind. Come down to a seat. If legs crossed again doesn't serve you, then sit at the edge of a chair, but don't miss this. Everything we've done has built us to this moment. So sometimes it's difficult to get going, to honor the beginning of something. And the beginning is Sa. And sometimes it's hard to shift from the enthusiasm of the beginning into the actual work of doing. And the doing is Ta. And then how can we learn to see the doing all the way to its conclusion, which is Ta? And how can we trust in the conclusion so fully that we know the next project, the next life, the next breath is waiting. The return is Ma. So thumb and first fingertips touch, Sa. Middle finger and thumb, Ta. Ring finger, Na. Pinky, Ma. That full life cycle of beginning, continuing, concluding, returning. And as we make these movements with our fingers, in synchrony with the sound through our body, the sound like Har initiates at the navel, rises up through you, and projects right out through the center of your forehead, a pulse of light. And as we have that pulse of light, that pulse of attention at the forehead center, we begin to activate the prefrontal cortex, this aspect of us that is imaginative, this aspect of us that is unique to human beings, to perceive ourselves in space, in time, and beyond both. So we are on day 10. We double the ratios. 2 minutes aloud, 2 minutes of whisper, 4 minutes of silence, 2 minutes of whisper, 2 minutes aloud. Stay with it. Keep the rhythm in your fingers. And we begin. Sa, ta, na, ma. 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 Satanama, 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 Satanama. Satanama, 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 Satana. Whisper. Sa-ta-na-ma, 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 Pulses of light out through the forehead center. Continue. Sa, ma, sa, ta, na, 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 ma, sa. Silently, fingers keep moving. The syllables repeat in your mind, and the light pulses through the forehead center. Notice any tension in the back, any tension in the shoulders, the face, or the hands. Allow yourself to be effortless in the body, in a pulse of light, pulse of the mantra, the fingers and the mind. and whisper sa ta na ma sa ta na ma sa ta na ma sa ta. That with this repetition, you are becoming competent and familiar at every aspect of your life. The beginning, the living, the dying, the return. Each day has these patterns. Each interaction has these patterns. And you are becoming free to use all of them well. Sa, ta, na, ma, 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 sa, ta, na. Speaking. Sa, ta, na, ma, 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 sa, ta, na, and pause. Be free. Be very, very still. Soften your body, soften your mind, release your breath, and simply rest in the competence, the consistency that you created. Whether it was comfortable or not, difficult or not, familiar or not, rest in the frequency that it provided. Let the rest go. Can we feel who we are without the patterns? without the old stories? Can we feel a real shining connection to right now? And can we redefine ourselves and say, I am this shining connection to right now. I am accepted, I am guided, and I am loved right now, always. How does it feel to be accepted? Bring this in your body, not in your mind, not the word, but the sensation of being accepted into someone's company. Just breathe that in. Breathe in the sensation of being welcome. And then let it get larger. And let the welcome be so impersonal that it's as though the entirety of the day is meeting you, welcoming you in. It has no story like any friend or family. That is not the welcome. It is larger than that. I am this. Stay as long as you like. Rest in Shavasana as long as you like, or reach wide, sweeping high. Palms together. Gather your thumbs to the forehead. Center that bright beaming spot. Long sat, short nam. I am this. Inhale. Sat nam. I have every intention of putting out a newsletter, but my schedule has been sliding. Children and I are up to a few projects. In that newsletter would be a time-sensitive access to Gabor Mate's documentary. It's just come out. It's called The Wisdom of Trauma, and it's available from October 4th to October 10th. So if you go to thewisdomoftrauma.com, you can sign up and get access. They'll email you access to the movie. And what he's saying and the clinical data he's putting behind it is exactly why we practice. We are born with this innate freedom, and then given circumstances that our parents encounter, there may be a need for them to separate from us. They may be incapable of connecting to us. And right at that soft formative moment, and perhaps for many years after that, that lack of connection is something that we take in at a cellular level. We make many various responses to it. But this practice, at its heart, and all of yoga, is an effort to recover ourselves as we were, as we are. Because who you began as, that bright, simple, innocent soul, that is exactly who you are now. It's just covered up. And so take a look. I find that it's so essential to learn more. And here's someone coming from modern psychology, and here's someone out in the nowheres of Kundalini yoga, and here's someone doing neuroscience, that we're all saying the same thing. That we need a practice that brings us back to an understanding of who we are. We are light, we are good, we are available to great support. We must step beyond the human tribe and connect to something larger and fortify our light and then share it back out. So thewisdomoftrauma.com, share it with friends. I'll put it up on Instagram. Put it out. Put it out. It's only available till October 10th, and then I'm sure it'll show back up. But for right now, it's available, and it's so pertinent to our practice. Thank you, Gabor Mate, for supporting us so well. Thank you, loves. You're so good and wise. I will see you on Saturday for Vinyasa or Sunday morning for more of this. I am this. We are this. Satnam.